All right. Hi.
Okay, are we looking at each other or are we looking at the camera? Like,
I call it a process of coming to consciousness, but what was it like for you to come to that question? Am I enough? How did you get to that?
yeah, I started just like with the stories first.
Mm.
So like the question did not come first. The stories came, and then I saw a theme, and that theme was me questioning my worth.
What was the theme? Did you intentionally choose a theme for each story, or did it just come to you and you were like, I'm gonna write them down? What was that process like for you? I don't want to come up with anything. Yeah,
you're good.
Yeah.
For the most part, it just came to me, which I hate saying that because it sounds so arrogant. It just came to me. It's just like, what the fuck, girl, calm down. But it kind of did. It was just a lot of free writing.
Yeah.
It was just there was little to no plans. It was just me trying to write as if I was writing for some sort of animation series and trying to be as loose and goofy as my true self is, with the vulnerable poems here and there. But the process was not as structured as maybe a process should be, which is funny because there's no way that it should be, but there's no solid answer I can give that.
Right.
It's just a matter of okay, this is at some point in the middle of me writing all those stories, I figured out the theme, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to continue to free write around this theme because this is something that keeps coming up. And even though I wrote about certain lessons that I needed to hear, because this was mostly just for things that I needed to hear. Even though I wrote those, I still hadn't processed it completely. I still hadn't understood the lesson, even though I wrote the lesson, because the world's funny. What? But yeah, so I guess if anything, afterwards, I was questioning my worth less. It wasn't even a question. It wasn't even a question. Am I enough in this this world where I should be financially independent and prospering and having a plan that's solid? That wasn't even a question because I feel like it's that last poem. The last poem is titled "I Am Not Enough," and the idea of that poem is by asking, "Am I enough?" You're already you're measuring yourself. You're already measuring yourself, and I'm trying to take away the ruler. There is no ruler. It doesn't exist. So therefore, my worth isn't even in question. I just am. Even when I'm shit and not doing okay, I just am. I'm not enough. I just am. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's amazing.
I gotta get this.
Yeah.
That was a bad eyebrow raise. Am I enough?
I mean, I barely have any eyebrows.
Sometimes at certain angles I don't have eyebrows. At this angle, it's a little... it's a little confusing, but at this angle... I feel like people will get different things out of this, depending on what your situation is. Someone might not even think about, societal norms and whatnot, and them questioning their worth because of that. Someone might be thinking just about their partner or something who's I guess making them feel less than, even though that's not what the totality of my book is about. So that question is really, really hard to answer. I don't think I hope for anyone to take a certain thing from this book. I just hope that whoever needs to hear, I guess, my words is able to hear it. Mm-hmm. There's also an audiobook that's free. But yeah, I guess I hope people, the only thing that I hope is for people to continue to examine the way that they think about themselves. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's awesome. I think it did that for me. I think your book really, it didn't necessarily like, I love that in reading your book, as I was going through the page and I was nearing the end, I was like, okay, well, we're finally going to get to the answer, like, of, you know, am I enough? And I think towards the end, it's not a question of am I enough. I think it revolves around existence and just being, and how in itself that is enough, right? Mm-hmm. That holds value in itself, just being and just existing. And